Every woman must remember her worth cannot be diminished by the desires of another. If you wish to succeed in relationships, you must first believe in your own strength. As Napoleon Hill once said, what the mind of man can conceive and believe, it can achieve. But in relationships, the key to achieving is not giving everything you have for another. It is instead maintaining your value and your peace. Today we'll discuss the 7 things you must never do for a man to ensure your own growth, success, and happiness in love. Picture this: you're in a relationship with a man you deeply care about, but somewhere along the way you find yourself bending over backward to please him. You change who you are, ignore your own needs, and give more than you receive. At first, it feels like love, but soon the joy fades. You're left wondering if he truly sees you for who you are, or if you've become a shadow of yourself. This isn't a love story, it's a cautionary tale, but don't worry, because there's a better way. You don't have to lose yourself to gain someone else's affection. True love is built on mutual respect, not sacrifice. Now, before we dive into today's powerful message, do me a favor. Hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss any of the real talk that will change the way you approach love and relationships. You deserve to learn from the best, and trust me, the next steps will elevate your relationship game. Let's start with this affirmation. I am my own priority. Say it loud, say it proud, and watch how your energy shifts. Let him see it, let the universe hear it, and let yourself believe it. Get ready, because the first truth that'll make you unstoppable is coming your way. Don't go anywhere. Number 1, never compromise your true self. Imagine this. You've just started dating someone who seems amazing. He's got the looks, the charm, and everything that makes your heart skip a beat. But somewhere deep inside, you're not feeling like yourself. You start changing your routine, maybe dressing a little differently, saying things you don't fully believe in, and pretending to enjoy things you actually don't. You go out of your way to please him because you think, if I do this, he'll like me more. If I do that, maybe he'll finally see me the way I want him to. And for a little while it works. He notices you more. He seems more interested. But the real you, the one you've been suppressing, is screaming to come out. The smile fades. The joy starts to evaporate. You begin to feel disconnected. And you wonder, was it worth it? Was it worth losing a piece of myself just to hold his attention? Here's the truth. No matter how hard you try to fit into someone else's idea of who you should be, it will never bring lasting happiness. You're trying to build something real with a foundation that's not even your own. Napoleon Hill said, what you think, you become. What you feel, you attract. What you imagine, you create. Let that sink in. If you're pretending to be someone else to gain approval, your thoughts and feelings are out of alignment with who you truly are. You're building a false version of yourself, and deep down, you'll always know it. So what does this really mean for you? It means that your authenticity is your greatest asset. The woman who knows herself, embraces her values, and stands firm in her identity is the one who commands respect. She doesn't have to beg for attention or pretend to be something she's not. She knows her worth, and she's not afraid to show up as the real version of herself, no matter who is watching. Now you might be thinking, but what if I really like him? What if he doesn't like me the way I am? I get it. It's scary to think that maybe the real you isn't enough. But here's the thing. If you have to change who you are to gain someone's approval, it's not love you're building, it's insecurity. You're bending yourself to fit into a mold that was never meant for you. And eventually that mold will break. Think about it like this. Have you ever tried to wear shoes that were too tight? For a little while, you might be able to walk around in them, maybe even look good doing it. But as time passes, your feet start to hurt. You start to feel uncomfortable, and the longer you stay in those shoes, the more likely you are to get blisters. But what happens when you put on the right shoes? They fit, they're comfortable, and you can walk with confidence, knowing you're wearing what was made for you. The same goes for relationships. When you try to fit into someone else's expectations, you're walking in shoes that don't fit. But when you stand firm in who you are, when you stop pretending to be someone you're not, you find your stride, you find the partner who fits with you, not just someone you're trying to impress. Let me remind you of Hill's words again. What you think, you become. If you think you're not enough as you are, if you think you have to change everything about yourself to be loved, that belief will shape how you show up in the world. But if you truly believe that the real you is more than enough, not only will you attract the right kind of love, but you'll also attract respect, admiration, and the kind of relationships that fuel your soul. Don't settle for less than the best version of yourself. It might feel tempting to change just a little, to tweak yourself here and there to make someone else happy, but trust me when I say this, it's not worth it. The real you is magnetic. The real you is the one that will make him miss you when you're not around, not because of games or tricks, but because your authenticity is so undeniable. Now take a moment and reflect. Think about one area where you've been pretending or changing yourself to please someone else. Ask yourself, is it worth it? Does it feel like freedom or like a prison? Write down one thing you're going to stop pretending about and promise yourself that you'll show up as the real you from now on. Remember this, you're not here to blend in, you're here to stand out. Stay true to yourself because the world needs you at your fullest, most authentic self. You are more than enough just as you are. And up next, we're diving into the second truth. One that's all about how to attract the right kind of energy without chasing it. Trust me, you don't want to miss it. Number 2, never carry a man financially. Imagine this. You've been seeing a man for a while and things are going great. The connection is undeniable and you feel like you're building something special. Then one day, he comes to you with a financial problem. Maybe it's an unexpected bill or a situation where he's fallen short. And because you care about him, because you want to help, you decide to lend him some money. At first, it feels good. You're supporting him, showing your love. But over time, things start to change. The money he promised to pay back never quite materializes. The relationship shifts and you start to feel uneasy. What was once a gesture of love now feels like a burden. The connection becomes tangled and you're left wondering if he sees you for who you really are, or if he's just relying on your generosity. You begin to feel trapped. You can't break free from the relationship because of the financial tie. The money feels like an anchor, keeping you in a place where you know things aren't right, but you can't quite let go. You're left stuck, financially and emotionally. It's a dangerous place to be, and the regret starts to creep in. Napoleon Hill once said, "The man who does more than he is paid for will soon be paid for more than he does." Let that sink in for a moment. What does that mean in relationships? It means that when you give more than you're receiving, whether it's financially, emotionally, or in any other way, you are setting yourself up for imbalance. You're enabling someone's dependency, not empowering them to rise up and take responsibility for their own life. You might be thinking, but I care about him. I don't want him to suffer. And I get it. Love is about support. It's about standing by someone in tough times. But there's a big difference between offering support and becoming the lifeline that someone depends on indefinitely. When you carry someone financially, you're not helping them become stronger. You're enabling them to stay stagnant. to avoid facing their own responsibilities. And that's a dangerous place to be for both of you. The key message here is simple but powerful. Financial dependency is a trap. It's a trap that keeps you stuck, and it keeps the other person from growing. It's one thing to support your partner during tough times, but it's another thing entirely to become their financial safety net without boundaries. Support should feel empowering, not like an obligation. And once that obligation starts to feel heavy, it's time to reassess what you're really doing. Remember, you are not here to carry anyone else's weight. You have your own journey, your own dreams, your own goals. Your peace of mind, your financial security, and your emotional well-being are your responsibility, not his. If you find yourself in a situation where you're carrying someone financially, it's time to set boundaries. It's time to stop enabling laziness and start creating space for both of you to grow in a healthy, balanced way. Here's the question. Are you truly helping him, or are you just putting off the inevitable? Are you building a future together, or are you holding on to something out of fear? It's time to be real with yourself about whether your support is empowering or enabling. Take a step back and ask yourself, am I helping him rise to the occasion, or am I allowing him to remain dependent? By setting boundaries and taking care of your own needs first, you will not only preserve your peace of mind, but you'll also create space for both of you to thrive. Remember, the best way to love someone is by making sure you both stand on your own 2 feet. And up next, we're going even deeper. We're going to talk about how to create a relationship built on mutual respect, and why true love can only grow when both partners stand strong, individually. Trust me, you won't want to miss it. Number 3, never lose your voice. Imagine this. You're in a relationship and at first, everything feels right. You're happy, you're connected, and you think this is the one. But over time, you start to notice something shifting. Slowly, you find yourself always accommodating his needs. You want to keep the peace, so you push your own needs aside. When something bothers you, you swallow your discomfort instead of speaking up. You stop voicing your concerns, thinking, it's not a big deal, I'll just let it go. You convince yourself that if you stay quiet, everything will be fine, but deep down, something starts to feel off. Your happiness, your voice, your truth. It's all being buried under the weight of keeping things smooth for him. And slowly, but surely, that quiet sacrifice starts to eat at your peace. You're not being heard anymore, not because he doesn't care, but because you've stopped expressing yourself. Here's the truth. The more you stay silent, the more you lose yourself. And let me tell you, silence is not the same as peace. True peace in a relationship is built on understanding, open communication, and respect. It's not about avoiding conflict or suppressing your own feelings for the sake of harmony. It's about having the courage to speak your truth, even when it's uncomfortable. Napoleon Hill once said, "Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement." Think about that for a moment. In relationships, your purpose is to be heard, to connect authentically, and to be valued for who you are. When you allow your voice to be silenced, you've lost your sense of purpose, and your relationship has lost its foundation. What happens when you stop speaking up? You might think you're keeping the peace, but in reality, you're giving up your power. You're allowing the relationship to be one-sided, with your needs and desires taking a back seat. This leads to resentment, frustration, and a gradual disconnect. A relationship can't thrive if one person is constantly suppressing their voice. For a relationship to grow, both partners need to feel safe enough to express their needs, their discomforts, their desires, and yes, their disagreements. True love doesn't thrive in silence, It thrives in honest conversation, even when that conversation isn't easy. You might be wondering, but what if I speak up and he gets upset? Here's the thing. A partner who truly cares about you will respect your voice. A man who is worthy of your time and energy will listen to your needs even if he doesn't agree with them. Speaking up doesn't mean you're starting a fight. It means you're standing up for your happiness and well-being. And a man who values you will respect that. If he shuts you down or dismisses your feelings, that's not a sign of love. It's a red flag that you need to pay attention to. Remember, peace comes from respect, not avoidance. Think of it like this. Imagine building a house with no foundation. It might look fine for a while, but the cracks will show and eventually the house will start to fall apart. Your voice is the foundation of your relationship. If you suppress it, the entire structure will weaken over time. But when you speak up, when you communicate openly, you strengthen the relationship. You show your partner that you're an equal, that your thoughts and feelings matter just as much as his. And when both of you communicate honestly, you build a connection that can withstand anything. Now think about the last time you held something in because you didn't want to rock the boat. How did that feel? Was it worth sacrificing your peace of mind just to avoid a conversation? I want you to make a promise to yourself today. Your voice matters. Don't be afraid to speak your truth. Set boundaries. Express what you need, what you want, and what makes you feel heard and loved. You are not here to be a silent partner. You are here to build a relationship based on mutual respect, communication, and truth. So today, I challenge you. Find one small way to use your voice. Maybe it's sharing an opinion, or maybe it's setting a boundary you've been avoiding. But use your voice, let it be heard, and stay tuned, because up next, we're diving into how to support your partner without losing yourself in the process. Trust me, it's a game changer. Number 4, never let him move in without commitment. Imagine this. You're in a relationship with a man who makes you feel seen and appreciated. Things are going well, but there's that little voice in the back of your head telling you, this could be even better if we lived together. It will bring us closer. We'll build something real. So you open your heart and your home, and before you know it, your boyfriend moves in. You think it'll strengthen your bond, that living together will deepen your connection. But as time goes on, the cracks start to show. His sense of responsibility is lacking. He leaves his things everywhere. He doesn't contribute as much as you thought he would. The dynamic shifts from partnership to imbalance, and instead of growing closer, you start feeling more distant, more frustrated. The relationship that was supposed to bring you closer is now causing strain, and you're left wondering if this was the right decision. Here's the truth. Moving in together is a huge step in a relationship, and it should never be done out of convenience or the hope that it will magically fix things. Napoleon Hill once said, "When your desires are strong enough, you will appear to possess superhuman powers to achieve." Let's break this down. Your desires should be strong enough to know what you truly want and what you will or will not settle for. If your desire is to have a loving, committed relationship, you should never settle for a situation where there's no real clarity or commitment. You deserve more than just convenience. You deserve trust, mutual effort, and a clear understanding of where the relationship is headed. When you allow someone to move in without clear commitment, what you're doing is setting yourself up for potential emotional turmoil. It's not about living together being inherently wrong, but about the expectations, or lack of expectations, stands behind it. If there's no commitment, no mutual understanding of what living together means, then you're essentially setting yourself up to be his roommate, not his partner. Relationships thrive on clarity. When you make big decisions like cohabiting, you should be certain that both of you are on the same page about your future together. Moving in should be the natural progression of a deep, committed relationship, not a last-ditch effort to fix things or make the relationship work. Think about this. Imagine you're starting a business with a partner. Would you dive in without a clear business plan, without understanding each other's roles and responsibilities? Absolutely not. You would want everything to be laid out clearly so there's no room for confusion or resentment. The same principle applies to relationships. Moving in together should be part of the plan, not a reaction to something missing in the relationship. It's a mutual decision made with both partners fully committed to the journey ahead. You might be thinking, but I love him and I want us to grow together. Love is powerful, but love alone isn't enough to build a lasting foundation. Trust and commitment are what make a relationship strong, and without those, the relationship becomes a house of cards. Easy to build, but just as easy to crumble. You should never feel like you're the only one putting in the effort to make the relationship work. You need a partner who respects your space, your boundaries, and most importantly, your commitment to building a future together. When you allow someone to move in without making sure there's a clear commitment, you're not giving them the space to show their true intentions. And more importantly, you're not giving yourself the space to fully protect your peace and your heart. Clarity brings peace. Commitment brings security. So before you make that big move, ask yourself, are you both ready for this next step? Are you on the same page about what this means for your future together? It's not about rushing into things, it's about making sure that when you do take that step, it's because you've both laid the groundwork for something real. You deserve a partner who's not just sharing your space, but also your values, your goals, and your vision for the future. Remember, clarity is your superpower. Don't settle for anything less than what you truly deserve. Your heart, your home, and your life are worth the investment of true commitment. And up next, we're diving into how to maintain your boundaries while still showing love and support. Stay tuned, because this next part will change the way you approach relationships forever. Number 5. Never let him isolate you from friends and family. Imagine this. You've been in a relationship for a while, and at first, everything feels perfect. But then, little by little, your partner starts to ask you to spend less time with your friends and family. At first, it seems harmless. It's just us two, let's focus on each other, he says. But soon, the requests become demands. You don't need to talk to her anymore. Or, why do you need to spend time with them? His influence starts to creep in, and before you know it, your world is shrinking. You're starting to isolate yourself from the people who love and support you, all for the sake of the relationship. But something doesn't feel right. The more isolated you become, the less connected you feel to yourself and to others. What Napoleon Hill once said, "You can be what you want to be, do what you want to do, and have what you want to have, provided you believe you can." This is the key to understanding why isolation is so dangerous. When you allow yourself to be cut off from the very people who empower and support you, you are essentially letting someone else dictate your reality. Your friends and family are your community. They are your strength. They help ground you, remind you who you are, and provide you with the love and perspective you need to stay true to yourself. No healthy relationship should ask you to sever ties with those who uplift you. Never allow anyone, no matter how much you care for them, to isolate you from the people who have your back. Love and support should be a shared experience, not something that diminishes your connection to the outside world. Your strength comes from those around you, and when you let go of that, you lose a part of yourself. Number 6. Never choose a man over your relationship with God. Imagine this. You're deeply in love with someone, and at first, the relationship feels like everything you've ever wanted. But soon you find yourself spending more and more time with him, and less time with yourself and your faith. Slowly, you begin to skip your spiritual practices. The values that once grounded you start to fade, and your connection to your higher purpose weakens. You tell yourself, "It's just this once," or "He's more important right now." But before you know it, you've lost touch with the very thing that gave you strength, your relationship with God. Napoleon Hill once said, "Your only limitation is the one you set up in your own mind." This speaks directly to the choices you make. If you start neglecting your spiritual life for a relationship, you're setting up limitations for yourself. Limits on your personal growth, your inner peace, and your sense of purpose. True love should never pull you away from your faith. In fact, it should support and enhance your spiritual journey. A relationship that aligns with your values will help you grow closer to your higher purpose, not distance you from it. When you allow love to take priority over your spiritual connection, you create imbalance. Love should complement your journey, not be the reason you abandon it. Always remember to prioritize what brings you peace, what centers you, and what aligns with your true self. Your faith is the foundation of your inner strength, and no relationship should cause you to compromise that. Keep your spiritual life strong, and the right relationship will only enhance it. Your connection to your higher purpose is irreplaceable. Never let anyone, not even love, make you forget that. Number 7, never sacrifice your happiness for someone else. Imagine this. You're in a relationship with a man you care about deeply, but something isn't right. The relationship feels like it's draining you, not uplifting you. You find yourself sacrificing your own happiness just to keep him around, telling yourself that it's worth it if you don't lose him. But deep down, the joy is fading, and you're left wondering, is this really what I want? The fear of losing him keeps you in a relationship that brings more stress than peace, and you start to feel disconnected from yourself. Napoleon Hill once said, "Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve." This means that what you believe about your worth and your happiness will manifest in your life. If you continue to believe that sacrificing your happiness for someone else is necessary for love, that's exactly what you'll create, a life of compromise and discontent. But if you believe that your happiness is non-negotiable, you'll begin to make choices that align with your peace and well-being. A relationship should lift you up, not drain you. If you're constantly sacrificing your own needs, your own joy, and your own peace for the sake of a relationship, it's time to reevaluate. You deserve a love that nourishes you, that encourages you to grow, and that respects your happiness. Walk away from anything that doesn't serve your highest good. Your happiness is the foundation of everything. If a relationship consistently brings you pain instead of joy, it's time to let go. Trust that walking away will create space for a better, more fulfilling love that honors who you are. In conclusion, remember that your happiness, your peace, and your authentic self are non-negotiable. When you stand firm in who you are, set clear boundaries, and prioritize your well-being, you attract the love and respect you truly deserve. Don't settle for anything less than a relationship that lifts you up. If this message resonated with you, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe for more empowering content, and share this video with someone who needs a reminder of their own worth. Keep shining, and I'll see you in the next one.